Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. Our theme today is success. Yeah. See, what I told you guys a while back, I want to take you back. Take them back. Take them back. I want to take you back to November the 8th. Actually, a little before that. And I was predicting success. Take them back. Kevin's predicting success. I was telling you guys Donald Trump's going to win. And people are like, Kevin, Donald Trump can't win. He's getting his butt kicked. Look at all the polling and all this. They were telling us Hillary Clinton's pulling out of, Pennsylvania. She's pulling out of Michigan because she's going to tool her resources and take Texas. And when people were, Kevin, she's going after Texas. If we lose Texas. And I said, first of all, you're not going to lose Texas. And all this stuff, them pulling people out and all that, nonsense. Hillary's not even going to win Wisconsin. It was in play. The Democrats won this Wisconsin under blah, 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 and they gave me every reason to fail. This is like growing up black. So, Kevin, listen here. You're a little colored boy. You're not going to be able to have the success of those white kids over there. So just get that in your head, young boy. And I would be like, what? You do know of people like, Joe Louis and, Arthur Ashe and Jack Johnson and Muhammad Ali. And, I could name a bunch of people. They couldn't convince me that I couldn't be what I wanted to be. I even told myself years ago, I said, Kevin, if you wanted to straighten up and fly right, you could be president of the United States. If you want to go that route, you could. I knew that. I remember telling myself, do I want to be president? I don't know. Let me think about it. And I don't know. By the time I was 12, I decided I didn't want it. And that is the reason why I'm not sitting my little black buttocks in the Oval Office right now having, told Donald Trump, I apologize for beating you. That's the reason. But that is the only reason. Is because I made the career path that said, I don't want to go that way. Because if I wanted it, I would have had it. I'm telling you guys right now, if I want to be rich, and I don't know how famous I am, but if I wanted to be rich and super famous, I could do it. I could do it in a week. I've already told you how. I just flip over. I would tell people I was so wrong to be over on the right. These people. And I'd become the new Martin Luther King, switching over, not that Martin Luther King was switched over, but I'd switch over to the left. They would embrace me like a brother. Pardon the double entendre, but they would embrace me and probably squeeze my buttocks because that's what they do. I would accept it and not tell anybody and just put my money in the bank, and that would be the end of that. But I won't do it. Because I don't define success that way. I define success differently. I define it in a way that where I wake up in the morning feeling good about who I am. Knowing that I've at least tried to do the righteous thing. I don't always make it work. It doesn't always, go out that way, but I try. He tries. Look at him, I swear he tries. Oh, man. Success. I don't understand anything but success. Doesn't mean I haven't failed. I've failed many, many times. Miserably. But I don't take it personal. I don't go, I'm such a failure. I just go, hey, that's the way you got to learn. Tell my youngest son, I'm like, boy, you got to get out there. Don't think that you're going to get to the brass ring by just going from zero to whatever. You have to put in the time. Boop, doop, 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 doop. That's the way you do it. So what happened was you had success. You watched Donald Trump win. And many people, the never-Trumpers, the anti-Trumpers on the left, they were like, that gummit, he wasn't supposed to win. He had success. And then you were like, whoa, that tasted pretty good. Could I have a little more taste of that success? But see, let me explain something to you. You don't need to fix success. Corey Lewandowski just introduced his new book, and he says, let Trump be Trump. And the idea was, stop playing with a winning formula. See, the Republicans are used to losing. They don't like success. They don't understand success. They're used to losing. So here comes Donald Trump with his tweets, and he needs to quit tweeting, whatever. It's successful. And has it continued? What do you think? For all you people that were going, I wish he would quit tweeting. How long did it go that you say that? You started right away. have you lessened just a little bit? Has it weakened your resolve for what he should do with his tweets? Or do you now kind of expect it and say, you know what? They kind of work. You wanted failure. You've been disciplined for failure. Because let me explain this. Failure is where the money is. Like pharmaceuticals, the cure only pays off temporarily, but treating the symptoms is where the real money is. And the symptoms are failure. I don't need to be successful in my curing of you. I just need to treat you. And it only goes a little bit, then guess what? Something comes up. You ever looked at the recurring nature of politics? You see it? There are ways to solve these problems, but the left doesn't want to solve them. I'll use the NFL as an example. If Roger Goodell had said, you know what? You're not going to protest in the way that you do, so the first protest is going to cost you $1 million. Any subsequent protests, we're going to suspend you for 4 games. Now, do you want to win your league thing and get all the accolades and everything that come with that, or do you want to protest? And see, that would have ended it. Goodell didn't fine any players that kneeled. He didn't suspend any of them because that would have meant success. Instead, he decided to go with the leftist solution, which is let's just treat the problem. And what did they do? They offered the black players $100 million to just stop it. And you know they did? Nah, because if we take the money, we sell out. And then $25 million was going to go to the NAACP, $25 million to the National Urban League, $25 million to some cause of this, that, or the other. Now the NFL's got a real can of worms. They don't know what to do because the black people have rejected the first offer. What's it going to cost us? Let me tell you what it's going to cost them. Their league. How long do you think it's going to take these fools to return back to where they were? They have ruined their brand. Because leftism isn't about success. It's about failure. That's where now they got to rebuild it, and they got all the owners are going to get together and they're going to throw money at it. Failure is where the money is, not success. If they ran it like a business, they would run it successfully and the money would come to them because they would have solved that problem right away, and bada bing, we're all good.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It is the Kevin Jackson Show. Yeah. Glad you're with me. Always happy to have you guys participate in what I'm doing. Look, we got a ton going on here with respect to travel, events. I'm going to be doing things like that, getting super busy. I'm going to be working with the Israeli consulate on some things that I think are pretty interesting. They came up to me and wanted to do some things together. So, hey, Kevin's going to be partnering with the Jews. What can I tell you? Hey, yeah, forget about it. Oy vey. Anyway, that's all my Jewish that I have. I got to tell you, amazing group of people. Woo! I'll get into that more another time. So Mark Young at Young Truth, he tweeted this. Since being a white guy is so negative, I decided to self-identify as a one-legged transgender druid that eats fabric softener. And in 24 hours, I had a disability check, access to the ladies' room, and my own reality TV show. And I love when guys come up with these crazy things to highlight what we go through with the left. Campus Reform does a really good job of highlighting what's happening on campuses around the country, what's being taught by professors. I swear to you, if I sat here right now, or let's just say we did it together, we had some fun together, and I said, come up with the craziest ideas that you want to, that we could discuss in the political arena. And we just riffed and we came up with the craziest stuff. Mike, we were going to make a sitcom to end all sitcoms. I swear to you, you will find that story, whatever we make up, it'll be, oh, they're teaching that. Yep, there's a professor at the University of blankety blank, and they're teaching that. Trust me, it's crazy out there. Here's something else we need to talk about. So, more sex scandals for Democrats. Women are coming out of the woodwork. I'm talking about leftist women. And they're accusing their men, and I use my finger quotes when I say leftist men, but they're accusing those men of sexual impropriety. Now, what's really interesting is that they're bringing down so many of them. So the guy that, who was it? Charlie Rose. Charlie Rose is gone now from whatever station he was on. CBS, was it? I think it was. So Charlie Rose is gone, and they're going to replace Charlie with Christiane Amanpour. Now, she's been, I think, with CNN or something. I'm not sure. I don't try to keep up with all those lefties. But so a woman is going to replace Charlie Rose. Matt Lauer, as you know, was embattled, and I don't know who will replace him, but I'm going to make you a bet. I'm willing to bet that the person who replaces Matt Lauer is going to be a woman. And don't even be surprised if it's a gay woman. And that gay woman will look like a dude, like Rachel Maddow. You know that dude? I'm just saying, don't be surprised. Now, normally what they've done, and I don't know whether this is formulaic and it works or whatever, but they tend to put, a guy between two girls. Now, Fox and Friends does a woman between two guys. They do that in the day. They do it on the weekend. Before the show, the Fox and Friends, the pre-Fox and Friends show is a guy and a girl, kind of along the lines of America's Newsroom with Bill Hemmer. And it used to be Martha McCallum, but now it's Bill and I forget the other lady's name. So they've gone to that format. You're going to start seeing all women panels. And I don't know, look, what's interesting to me is the destruction of leftist women, of their men. These are men who they're become feminists. They're vegans. They're metrosexuals. They get their eyebrows waxed and their naughty bits waxed, their legs waxed. I mean, they look like young. I mean, if you strip them down, they look like women without breast. I'm just saying. And they are attacking these men. They're going after them. Now, I'm not saying Charlie Rose is one of those guys or whatever, but if you are starting to replace all these high-powered men with high-powered women, where are you headed? I think I know where they're headed. It's to the point now where you don't know. I'm just saying. Here's what the women's movement has gotten out of this. Let me just kind of make this clear. They now can say, so-and-so did something to me, and people go, oh my gosh, well, it's automatic, we believe her. Have you noticed that's what they all say? Look, we've got to believe them. Why are you not believing this person? Yeah, we're supposed to believe. Well, wait a minute. No, we're not. What makes you... she accused him of whatever. He said, she said. When did he said, she said become she said is bigger than he said? You want to know what that is, people? That is the opposite of what patriarchal societies like the Muslims do. The Muslims say, no, you must have two women to overrule one man. Okay, wow. Who said that? And I don't know why that society existed, why somebody would do that, but it's probably because of what's happening here now. Women are lying in America. He did that to me. I did not want that. Really? Then why did you get in the limo at 2:00 in the morning that he sent for you, and with flowers and a card that said, hey, would you please come over for a booty call? And then you come over and go, I didn't want it. Okay, then why did you get in the limo at 2:00 in the morning? Because let me tell you, if my grandmother heard you got in the limo at 2:00 in the morning, she'd go, yeah, whatever. So don't try to fool us. But now with these, look, I'm not hard on, I love conservative women. You women are awesome. Because you know what? If you are truly aggrieved, you say it, but you say it to them. Hey, do not talk to me that way. I'm a married woman or whatever. I'm not that way, or I don't do that. And it's done. Whoop, whoop, squelched. Squashed, as we say. But no, leftist women, or quite frankly, pursue you, then use it against you. And so that's what's happening. So we're supposed to now, automatically believe a woman. You are not going to get this dude to fall for that. I don't automatically believe anybody. I don't automatically believe Judge Roy Moore, and I don't automatically believe his accusers. And let me tell you why I side more with Judge Moore, pardon the pun. Because 40 years, 30-something years, and suddenly Judge Roy Moore is up for discussion because he's running for Senate, and I know the nature of Democrats. Yeah, I agree. I side more with Judge Moore on this one. And you know what? Shoot me. I don't care. Get mad at me. The fact is, we've seen how the left operate. We've watched them. Look at what they've done to President Trump in a year. What they've tried to do to a guy who's a rock star. Man, let me tell you, God is my witness. If Barack Obama were doing the things that Donald Trump was doing, I wouldn't be happy that I got it wrong in terms of what he did, but I would be ecstatic that this guy's doing so. I would be like, man, this is shocking to me. I got to tell you, I didn't realize that Barack Obama knew how to run an economy. I didn't realize that Barack Obama would take such a hard stance against our enemies. I didn't realize that Barack Obama understood, the global implications of blah, blah, blah. I would be ecstatic. And I would be like, man, okay, guys, I missed it. I'm sorry. The dude is good. He's really good. Let's see what happens next year, but he's good. You hearing any of that? Few never Trumpers are coming around.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's a Kevin Jackson Show. So, the theme of our show today is success. Racepimping.com. You can read that book and you too can have a lot of success. I promise you will. If you want to call the program, 844-551-8255. So Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are going to meet with the president. Now, these are the people that canceled the meeting earlier with the president. Yeah, they canceled the meeting last month after President Trump tweeted that he doesn't see a deal with Chuck and Nancy to avoid a government shutdown. The White House and McConnell and Ryan accused the Democrats of grandstanding. Of course, that's what they were doing. And while meeting with McConnell and Ryan later that day, President Trump left 2 empty chairs with Schumer's and Pelosi's names in front of them. See, these guys are used to the government threat of a government shutdown affecting only the Republicans, Donald Trump will tell them, shut the government down. That's his negotiation position. I don't care. Because what happens when the government shut down is the what they call critical needs are met. And it just means bureaucrats go home. Donald Trump will love it. He'll talk about how much money he saved the American taxpayer every single day that the government is shut down. That's how he'll sell it. So Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer went, we better probably show up and get back up there, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how it works, but I'll tell you this. If they were waiting for Trump to blink, good luck with that. Now people can go, Kevin, how do you know? I don't know. I'm only speculating. If I were President Trump, now I'm a more hard line. I ain't gonna lie, but I'd be like, I don't care how long they wait. Shut it down. I'm gonna tell you what my marketing is gonna be. We saved the American taxpayer $50 billion because there were a bunch of people out of work. And you know what, folks? Most of you don't even know it. You don't even miss them. That shows you how ineffective government is. They can be gone out of your life and you don't even miss them. Yeah, a few people get inconvenienced. Big deal. And every time they show people inconvenienced, I'll say, well, you know what? Here's how much money you're saving. How many of these people do you think we really need back? You know what I'm going to do while they're off? I'm going to go look at every one of their positions. And if we don't need them, I'm not even going to bring them back. I'm going to cut them out of the budget. Yeah, so anyway, whether you believe President Trump and the White House asked them to come back, whatever, they are coming back. So they said they accepted the president's invitation to meet about year-end legislative priorities. Think about it this way. Tell the Democrats you're going to be the ones that have to tell the people that aren't getting their Social Security checks and whatever that you shut the government down. Now they're saying, well, we have to have the DREAM Act or else we're not going to pass this budget. And Trump's going, fine, then don't pass the budget. You had two empty chairs there when they wanted to talk before. Now they're suddenly there. Who do you think needs who more at this point? Do I need to point out the wins of Donald Trump? Because in case the left hasn't noticed, this dude is a steamroller. He's a steamroller made out of Thor's hammer stuff. I don't know what Thor's hammer's made out of, but it's pretty tough stuff. In the wake of the scandals hitting Robert Mueller, I got to tell you, the president is sleeping easy at night. You got to think about this. Mueller is going to have to end his witch hunt. He's got to turn that investigation on itself. So all these people, Jared Kushner's going to have to worry. Somebody said that the other day. I was like, Jared Kushner's not worried. Look at any of these people, go on the inside. They are not worried. I promise you they're not. I have insiders in that White House telling me stuff. I'm not trying to brag about it. It's just a fact. They are not worried. The left, they got this exuberance over nothing. Trump is rolling. Who would you rather be right now? Be honest. Would you rather be Robert Mueller in the position of, just take politics out. If you were weighing the sides, you would have to be crazy to want to be Mueller. He's got a crooked FBI agent that's now got his fingers all throughout the process of what Comey was doing to let Hillary Clinton go free, changing words, changing this or that, letting people go free that shouldn't have, giving immunity deals and things like this. And everywhere along the way, it was to benefit Hillary Clinton. And we find out what? He's a real Hillary Clinton guy. So he's letting her people go. Wink, wink in the meetings. Meetings that we don't even have record of. And by the way, can you trust anything that was said in anything that they wrote up, that those guys have written up? The answer is no. So who would you rather be? Trump is rolling. And then think about this. He tweeted on this very subject. He drew the ire of leftists all across the country. Eric Holder chimes in, the FBI is a very good organization. And James Comey, justice is going to roll down like thunder. Let me tell you something. Eric Holder knew that FBI was crooked. They set it up that way. Comey was part of the whole plan. So what are these people talking about? Trump tweets out, you're a bunch of crooks. And what do we find out the very next day that they are? It's like God is whispering in his ear. Tweet, that the FBI are crooks. And Trump says, I've been told to tweet that the FBI are crooks. And what happens? We learn that the FBI are crooks. Now, sorry to burst your bubble. I already knew. You didn't have to tell me that Comey was a crook. You didn't even have to tell me that Mueller was a crook. Because once Comey endorsed Mueller, I knew it. And when you start looking into any of their background, Comey, he was a Republican that became a Democrat, and he's a real straight shooter. And everybody on Capitol Hill's telling you that, you know right away he's a lying sack of crap. That's what he is. So Donald Trump's in the driver's seat over all of this, folks. Then the news of the Supreme Court upholding Donald Trump's almost identical travel ban to Barack Obama's, and the left, who had a conniption over Trump's, hadn't said a word over Obama's, but that's a win. I told you guys, Trump doesn't have losses. He has temporary setbacks. And now it looks like he's going to get his tax reform bill. And I've been fighting. I was on Fox and Friends the other morning talking about this very issue of tax reform, and I'm going, really? So you guys want to help black folks, right? Nancy Pelosi said it was Armageddon. It's Armageddon. Oh my gosh. By the way, Nancy, isn't that the same thing you said about Trump's election? That it was going to essentially crash the economy? More on that in just a second. So this tax bill, I'm arguing with some guy, I don't even know who he is, and he's like, well, it's going to hurt the poor people. And I go, really? Explain to me how a person paying zero taxes is going to get hurt by a tax plan that's got zero taxes for them. Their taxes aren't going up. So explain to me how that works. Explain to me how anything you've done works. Oh, it's going to hurt people. Really? So it has to help everybody, right? That's your litmus test? Did Obamacare help everybody? Was it even touted to help everybody? The answer is no. And now what's the outcome of Obamacare? People are hurting. Then I went further. I said, hey, you know what else you guys love to do? You love to talk about all these glorious things you're going to do. And I'll use minimum wage as an example. You want to double minimum wage. What would you do? Who would you hurt? Would you hurt rich people? No, you'd hurt people on fixed incomes and poor people who are struggling. You would cut the value of their money in half if you got your way. And you claim you want to help. Why should we listen to you on anything? And oh, by the way, we won. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. And finally, I said, they did a meme of it. I said, I'm done with you. Because I was done with him. What else are you going to tell me that I need to know about? Talking points. It's going to hurt the poor. It's going to enrich the rich. Let me tell you something. The poor are not investing in this country. They're spending every dime they make because they're just getting by because of Obama. Now you got a guy that wants to put some money back in the hands of people who are producers, and you want to be mad about it? Your people ran up $10 trillion in 8 years. And you want to talk to us? You want to lecture us about tax policy? Dude, leave it to that guy. He's not even here talking about tax policy. He's talking about Obamacare and all that. I said, I'm happy to talk about tax policy. I'm happy to talk about the $10 trillion run up under Obama. The deficits that he ran up after Bush handed it to him. I'm happy to talk about it. But I'm not going to use talking points. I'm going to use real life. Everybody says I kind of shut the dude down. Well, good. I needed to shut him down. He's a moron. So you've got Donald Trump about to get tax reform passed. And let me tell you, I told you guys success is the thing here. Success. You want to know what the Democrats fear the most about Donald Trump? I swear this is true. You don't have to listen to anything else I tell you, but this is a fact. The thing that the Democrats fear the most about Donald Trump is not him having access to the bomb or anything else. What they fear the most about Donald Trump is Donald Trump's ability to create success. You want to talk about driving a stake through the heart of the vampire of liberalism? Success will do it every time.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
I have said that with stiff competition by some of the other things they have put forth is the worst bill in the history of the United States Congress. Now, how can I make that claim? Well, because it involves more money, hurts more people, increases the deficit by so much more, and just because everything is bigger in our country, the consequences of this bill, a multi-trillion-dollar economy being addressed by a bill that had no hearings, no expert testimony, just with the speed of light, as Jamie Raskin says, the speed of light in the dark of night, here we are.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Nancy Pelosi, and it was Armageddon. If yet again something else happens with Donald Trump, well, the world is going to come to an end. Aren't we used to this? It's over. Yeah, the president's tax reform bill looks like it's going to pass, and now Nancy Pelosi says, it'll hurt the poor. And what's funny is it doesn't matter how great things are with Donald Trump, the left are going to lament it. Okay, for the sake of discussion, let's say that the tax bill hurts a few of the middle class. Trump could easily argue, well, they'll make it up in their 401ks. Look at the stock market. Oh, but he can't go there. I tell you what about the price of goods and services that are dropping? What about the raises that they're getting because they've gotten better jobs? What about those that have come off unemployment, the 1.6 million people that are no longer drawing off the public dole and can now go back to work? And on and on. He could easily talk around it. Now, as a person who potentially could get hurt in this, because I live in a state where they charge a state income tax, I will tell you, I'm willing to forego it. I'm willing to take the bullet. I am. Because you know what? The states need to stop taxing using the income tax. I think they said California, one of the states goes up to 12%. In Missouri, it's 6%. Think about that. I don't know what it started at, but it's now 12% of your income. So forget that you're in the highest tax bracket federally, which would be 39%. 12% on top of that means you're at 51% before you even take a nickel out of every dollar that you get. 51%. And God forbid if your money comes from self-employment, because then you add another 15% of that. So you're at 66% before you even get a nickel. Then for every nickel you spend, every dollar you spend, they're going to take somewhere around 8 to 10% in retail tax, sales tax. And what about excise taxes? So if you're wealthy, you are going to be probably in the 60 to 70% tax bracket without even breaking a sweat if you're in the state of California or Massachusetts or these high tax states. So forcing them to look at their policies and say, you know what, we're not going to be taxing people this way because it's no longer going to be tax deductible. Because it just gives the states more leverage. They just say, well, you know what, we'll just give more through this plan. But if the federal government says, no, you'll have plenty. You'll have plenty. There's going to be a lot of money floating around here. Oh, my goodness. What do we want to look at? What track record do the left need in order to understand that Donald Trump is doing the right things? What do they need? I've already talked about the stock market. And look, I hate talking about the stock market because it isn't the barometer that it should be. Now, under Trump, it is. With Barack Obama, he was printing money. With Trump, it's the exuberance of the market. It's people saying, yeah, I want to put my money back in there. I want to get things moving. But it can go down. And it's easily manipulated. That's why I don't want to put a lot of faith into that. But what you can put faith in, pardon me, is when more people come off of unemployment. When more jobs are actually created, real jobs. When we have a glut for jobs to where people can migrate and move around a bit. That's when you spur the economy. When innovation starts occurring, and instead of it going overseas where the technology can be stolen, that innovation stays here in the United States. I've said this once, if I've said it 1,000 times. Nobody thinks like an American. Think about what I just told you. It doesn't matter where you live. In Britain, they don't think like we do. See, we're a big sovereign country. Britain is made up of the Scottish people, the Irish people, and the UK, and in terms of the UK and the Londoners, and they're not one united people. You got Protestants and Catholics fighting amongst themselves. America we don't have their issues, and we don't have that open borders thing. We have multiculturalization, but you come here and become American. Generally, it's not been like that. But in Britain, you didn't assimilate the way we did. Neither do you in France or Germany or anywhere else. They've lost their identities. Americans think different than any other culture. If you ask me, Kevin, what is our number one claim to fame? That's it. That's what built the American spirit. We think differently. We have a frontier mentality. And it's something that we can accomplish anything. Government can't stop us. Society can't stop us. And the left are trying to kill that. That's what they'd like to kill. But let me tell you, when you get a guy like Donald Trump who says, MAGA, make America great again, America first, and he's really pulling from just the I am somebody. You as an individual can make an impact, and I'm going to help you, and you won't need all these other crutches. Unbelievable. The market has set 80 records in less than a year with no end in sight. I've made a prediction that don't be surprised if this market ends up over 25,000 before the end of Christmas. When they start reporting retail numbers and such. 2 quarters over 3% GDP. An accomplishment Barack Obama never achieved. Even after buying this economy, he couldn't achieve that. Real record unemployment lows. Do you want to know? The real unemployment. I'm going to make a prediction. Real unemployment. I'm not talking about the fake ones where, they don't count the number of people looking for jobs and all that. Real unemployment in America is going to go down to 6%. I'm talking about everybody looking, whatever. We are going to have practical everybody at work who wants to work. The good news is everywhere. It's in all sectors. We're not talking about bean picker jobs. Even leftist Apple is bringing cash and manufacturing back to America. Committed to plants in this country. Amazon, anti-Trump hater Jeff Bezos, committed to 100,000 jobs in this country. His company is growing like crazy. He's going to become a Trump disciple at some point. And you know why? Because all this talk of he's a racist and he's a sexist and blah, blah, blah is going to go away. I'm not talking about completely, because leftists have to have something to complain about. You guys know my grandmother's saying, that chick could have a ham under each arm and still be looking for bread. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere, every sector. IBM's going to add 25,000 jobs over 4 years. Alibaba committed to 1 million jobs. If you don't know who that company is, go check them out. Chinese guy owns it. It's absolutely amazing what they can do. You can make things and have products instantaneously. It's going to spur entrepreneurism like you've never seen before. SoftBank, 50,000 new jobs, 5,000 already here, agreed to put $50 billion into this economy. They've already brought $5 billion with Sprint, expanding the Sprint network. I could go on. Dow Chemical, an innovation center in the Michigan area. They've committed that they will leave their $7 billion company here and bring more. Bayer is going to leave Monsanto here with whatever number of jobs. I can't remember how many, but they're going to bring 3,000 more new jobs. We're not talking 10, 50, whatever. We're talking about major manufacturers who put their companies in a particular area. And then I want you to think about what 3,000 people does to the infrastructure of a community. 3,000 people using gasoline and going to the grocery store, dry cleaners, kids playing softball, going to the mall, going out to restaurants. I want you to think about what that does. 3,000 people making an average of, say, $100,000 a year. I don't know what it is, but for easy math. Think about that. $30 million into the economy. Just like that. Tax base expanded. Homes. Whatever number of people need homes, need vehicles, and so on and so forth. That's what Donald Trump does. And that's why we need the tax plan. And that's why Pelosi and Schumer knew, you know what? We better call a meeting and meet with this man because he very well might be successful, and we want to be a part of that.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. The Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. We are talking about success. I'm so glad you're here. KJRadio.com is where you can find the show 24/7 on demand. And we encourage your calls, 844-551-8255. So anyway, glad to be here with you. As I said, success. And we've been trained on success. We understand it. We know how to do it. I'm going to talk about it with respect to how the left looks at success. They don't like it. When you, as Booker T would say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, they don't like that. They only like success when they have given it to you, when they can take credit for it. See, I'm happy to tell you there are people who've impacted my life that have made me successful because nobody can get there by themselves. You know the old saying, if you see a turtle on a fence post, he didn't get there by himself. But there isn't some farmer coming along going, yeah, I put that turtle on that fence post. Yeah, I put that turtle on that fence post. You've got to do things on your own. If I'm a turtle on a fence post, somebody picked me up and put me there. But if I'm struggling to get up that mountain and every now and then somebody, carves out a platform so I can rest before I begin my climb again, I'm doing the heavy lifting. I'm doing the work. Sure, you can come along and say, I help Kevin. I've got many friends, many supporters, many philanthropists, benefactors who've helped me. But I will tell you this, not a single one of them can take responsibility for my success. Not one. They can't even collectively take responsibility for my success. Because let me tell you something. If you've got kids, you know what I'm about to tell you. If you send your kid to the best trainers, he's a great athlete, and you send him to the best trainers, etc., and he doesn't want to do the work, he or she is not going to be a success. Period. There is no shortcut. You can have gifts, but that doesn't mean a thing. I have a friend right now. His name is Carl. He is one of the best artists, multimedia artists on the planet. This dude has work in the Smithsonian. And he is the laziest cat I've ever met. If I had a fraction of the artistic talent of Carl, I would be the Picasso of the modern era. This guy is good. When I tell you he's good, I'm telling you, artists all over the world know who I'm talking about. They know this guy. But when we were hanging out, I would be like, Carl, why aren't you working? Oh, dude, I'm tired. I went out, I was doing it. It's always an excuse. And the only time he worked was when he needed money. He would say, yeah, man, I got to do a quick exhibition. I got to pay these bills. And I was like, wow. Couldn't believe it. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about the lecherous Democrats, because that's what they are. See, we've just learned that a Corinne Brown, Democrat representative, was sentenced to 5 years in prison after her conviction in a federal fraud case back on May 18th. In the case, prosecutors proved that Corinne Brown used a charity to enrich herself. I'm stopping right there. The sentence is exactly what prosecutor Tyson Duva asked for, according to Action News. The 18 counts that Brown was found guilty of included wire fraud, tax evasion, and other crimes stemming from her theft from a Virginia-based charitable foundation. She was found guilty on 7 counts of wire fraud, 5 counts of mail fraud, 1 count of scheming to conceal material facts, 3 tax fraud charges, and 1 count of obstructing IRS laws. And let me tell you what Corinne Brown did. I don't know the details of what she did, but here's what I will tell you. If you are black, you don't get away with what Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation gets away with. Now, the NAACP should be outraged, because I'm going to tell you, I don't even know what this lady did. It is not a fraction of the infractions that Hillary Clinton and her family did. These people traveled on foundation money. They paid for weddings. They paid for vacations. They paid for you name it. They put it under the guise of helping other people, and they did nothing. A fraction of that money went to help. That you don't become worth $150, $200 million through a charitable corporation, period. Oh, we're helping all these people. They hired their friends. They covered themselves with friends. They got lobbyists working, and they used your tax dollars through the State Department to set all this crooked stuff up. Yet, who goes to prison? Black chick goes to prison. Black people and Republicans, that's who goes to prison. Not rich, white, leftist, progressive, Democrat thieves and scoundrels. This is a travesty. We've witnessed it time and time again. If you are under the protective umbrella of the Democrats, you can get away with murder. There are a lot of people. At some point, I don't know who will do it, but there'll be a movie or something made, and it'll tell you all about the Clintons. It'll tell you all about the Obamas. We'll peel back the onion of this government, and you'll see it stinks. What have we witnessed? We've watched the FBI cover up for Hillary Clinton. Do you think Corinne Brown right now is saying, I wish I had me a James Comey? Yeah, girlfriend, you needed you a James Comey because she's going to prison. Hillary Clinton has lied to the FBI. She's lied to the American public. Think about, it's funny when you look at the Clintons. Remember when Hillary Clinton and Bill were fighting against the vast right wing conspiracy, and they were on TV talking about their marriage and all these bimbos that were erupting and all these liars, and Hillary Clinton didn't believe the women at first, and quite frankly sicked her own people on them. And where are we? We find out Bill Clinton lied through his teeth. Hillary Clinton was covering it up to pretend that she did not know that what Bill Clinton is. I mean, you'd have to suspend so much belief. You might as well be watching Star Wars, right? But she's a squeaky clean in all this. So she's a vowed liar. You know it. And then today they go, oh, how could she possibly be lying? She's a liar. She lied to the FBI. She lied to the American people. She claims we're after her. We're not after her. We're after the crooked nature of her. And, I mean, we had no agenda against her. This is my point. All we want is the truth. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Back in.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
I don't pay much attention to his tweets. I'll say this for you. He's been one of the best presidents I've served under. And the reason he is he's not afraid to make decisions. He's not afraid to take on the big mouths around here.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. The reason why I find Orrin Hatch's comments about President Trump interesting is because Orrin Hatch is a rhino, and he's been around a long time, and he's also sort of on his way out. You know, he there's no dog in the fight anymore because I don't think there's a whole lot of fight left in the dog. And now you're noticing how he's sort of changing his language. Did you see at the end of that, we was like, what did he call him? You know, he had a name for all the bucket heads. What did he say?
The big mouths around here.
Yeah, the big mouths around here. Good grab, man. Pretty quick. Anyway, so just the fact that he's talking like that, that's a hint. I know it doesn't seem that way. That is success. That is the rhino Republican establishment turning around, taking note, trying to understand what is it that's going on here with Donald Trump. This guy can't lose. Yeah, I said it. Remember during the debates, during the primary, and I was one of them. Donald Trump would come out of a debate, and I was like, man, he lost that one. And then the polls would come out, and Donald Trump is at 21%. He was number one. And you're like, scratching your head going, that he didn't win that debate. You know, because remember he had all the mannerisms. He would be like, whatever. Yeah. Shaking his head, interrupting, whatever. It was a litany in what not to do in a debate. Wasn't it? Was it not? Come on, give it to. That's right. Strong J, Kevin. Good job. Yeah, so he would get through the debate and I'd go, he lost. The majority of the politicos, we were like, he lost. Now, you may not be one. I wasn't completely built on substance. It wasn't like, wow, so Lindsey Graham really sounded good during the debate, but he'll be the perfect person. I wasn't basing it totally on that. In fact, I had Trump, I think I had him number 3 most of the time. He was like the third. And he would bump between 2 and 3 depending upon who's. But I always thought Cruz was probably the better candidate in terms of, political savvy, knowing what to do, etc. And I still contend that on paper, Cruz was the better candidate. But I do understand the theatrics of it all. And certainly in retrospect, now that I have, the body of work that Trump has done, I'm going, there was no choice. Donald Trump was a solid number one. Ted Cruz wouldn't have been a fraction as effective as Donald Trump. And quite frankly, neither would anybody else. But the point was, we thought he lost. And he's winning. So why is this shift? Why are we watching these things happen? Why is it that, Schumer and Pelosi have changed their mind on Donald Trump and now they want to have a meeting? Why is it that suddenly Ryan and McConnell were able to get a tax bill through in much the same way as the Democrats did with Obamacare? Now, in defense of the Democrats, they didn't have a majority of the Senate, and they got it passed. So this should have been a lot easier. But the fact is, they finally got it through. Why suddenly do we have this turnaround? Brit Hume tweeted something that effectively said, I was one of the never Trumpers or anti-Trump guys. I don't know what he said exactly, but it was along those lines. And he says, I got to tell you, I'm pretty impressed. Now I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. I know one of my buddies up in Colorado was a former senator, and he has been writing op-ed pieces for the last year saying, I got to tell you, I was a never Trumper and I am on the Trump train. And when John Andrews jumps on the Trump train, you're going, really? Yes. I mean, you may not know who he is, but he's a bigwig in Colorado politics. He was an anti-Trump guy. And he wrote, this is one of the most polished dudes on the planet. And he wrote a piece saying, I screwed up. My own brother, who told me, first time I will not vote Republican. He didn't vote at all. I'm just saying, but because he wouldn't vote Democrat. First time I'm not going to vote since I've been able to vote. And he did not vote for Donald Trump. And so he calls me, I don't know, a couple months, 3 months later and goes, dude, I made a mistake. I talked to him 3 days ago. He says to me, man, this guy is good. I mean, this is the guy that made me a free thinker, made me an independent thinker. And he's going, this guy's good. So that's what we're seeing. And it doesn't matter what the left tries. They're going to try all kinds of trick, whatever. It doesn't matter what they do. Donald Trump is not guilty. He has one agenda. It is to move this country forward. If you look at his policy decisions, holy cow, I don't know how much you're into this type of stuff. It's kind of nerdy. It's wonkish. But talk about really forward thinking. I mean, things that Barack Obama, you could give him 50 lifetimes and he'd never come up with. And as I've said to you guys, the left are afraid of Donald Trump. I'm going to explain that in a little bit more detail in a bit. They're afraid of him. And they better be. They got to be. And, so I want to go back through, and I don't know when we'll do this, but there are a lot of never Trumpers, and I want to get some of them to contact us. Go to kjradio.com, send us a note, or call the show, 844-551-8255. And if you were a never Trumper, let me know. Or anti-Trump. Or, just a naysayer of any type. Where are you then and now? I'm curious. Where are you then and now? Because I can't imagine, even with all the negative things. In fact, I think the negative things endear people more to Trump, because if you were a never Trumper and you were concerned about, him pushing the button in Russia or whatever, or not being able to live up to what he said, whatever. And then you get to watch a year in review and you go, you know what, this guy's good. But then you think about all the negative things that were said about him over the year as he continued to perform. And you ask yourself, what did they lie to me about? If they're lying to me now, what were they lying to me about then? So I'm curious. I want to know from, look, I'm not saying you had to hate the guy, but if you weren't in his camp, where do you stand now? If you didn't vote for him, that may make it simple. I'm not talking about in the election, but even better if you didn't vote for him in the election. Where do you stand now? 844-551-8255. I'm very curious because I'm telling you, I believe Donald Trump, I feel like I do the same thing. I make people who don't understand how to think in the mindset of a winner do exactly that. I think Donald Trump has made America think differently about our circumstances. We no longer apologize for who we are, and we celebrate who we are, which is what we should have been doing in the first place. So I'm anxious. Let me know.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Lots to talk about. The theme of our show today is success. I like that you are successful people. You are successful in life. You are successful in love. Raising kids doesn't mean you've done it all great, but you know how to seek it out. You seek it out like a heat-seeking missile, and you end up being successful. You want to know why? Because you have a positive outlook on life. That's what conservatism is all about. It says, you know what? If I get dumped in a thing of horse poop, I'm going to wake up out of there looking for a pony, because that's what you think. There's no such thing as negative for you. You are always looking for the sunny side of life. And I love you for that. America loves you for that. Because we have the other side of it. The side of it that wants you to be pessimistic. They want you to be apocalyptic about everything that's happening in the world today. The Democrats cry, Armageddon on the tax bill, but they've done it before. Here's a short little montage of them. The first guy talks about what if President Trump, Donald Trump makes it to the presidency, and most of the other is them lamenting it after the fact. So listen to some of these and we'll discuss it.
If Trump wins, how about bursting into tears and screaming for the next 45 minutes?
Well, America is crying tonight. I'm not sure how much of America, but a very, very significant portion. And I mean literally crying.
Everybody is crying and so upset. And it is the end of their world.
Feels like the end of the world.
We were on Lifetime last night, and I was slowly getting drunk is what happened to me.
How do we explain how this is possible?
How did this happen? Experienced politician versus racist fake gynecologist.
Get your abortions now, because we're going to be and we're going to have to live with it.
You're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream. Also, you're not dead and you haven't gone to hell. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country.
This is a different Earth today than it was 24 hours ago. It's a different place. Because it just is different.
The woman who President Obama called the most qualified person ever to run for the White House couldn't break through. The question remains, who can?
Deeper concerns tonight that the world's shining light of democracy has gone dark.
Decency lost last night, and that's what's so hurtful about this.
This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part. And that's the part where the pain comes.
I kind of push back against the advancement of African Americans, of Hispanics, of women, of Muslim Americans.
It is a mourning moment for those people, and it is a moment filled with fear.
Because I'm on this network and people know my attitudes about things. They come up to me and they're scared, depressed, despair, desperate even. Almost clinging to me.
It was a rough night for everybody, I think. We're worried. The people are worried. Okay, he's the president. Now what?
It feels like we're trying to avoid the apocalypse, and half of the country is voting for the asteroid.
Is there a doomsday plan for a time like this? Am I right to ask about a doomsday plan? Do you see this as a doomsday scenario?
So if Donald Trump is democratically elected and your son is serving as a Marine, you wouldn't trust his life under that commander-in-chief? And Kane said, I wouldn't. That's a pretty extraordinary thing to say. If you have a son in the Marine Corps and that you don't trust the commander-in-chief. The people in the military defend the Constitution.
I can't put a happy face on that. And that's my job.
This is the first time
throughout this entire race where I'm officially shitting my pants. I genuinely do not understand how America can be this disorganized or this hateful.
How do you govern when your whole campaign was built on the hatred of somebody else?
From slavery to, Nazism, we have faced challenges before to who we are as a people.
Plus the Supreme Court, who knows where that's going to go. So the only checks and balances we have are us, The View.
Welcome back, everybody. Wow. Where do you start, right? Crying. They're going to be crying. End of the world. It's the end of the world. One of the girls, get your abortions now because we're all going to be booped. You're awake. That's Rachel Maddow. You're awake. Oh my gosh. It's not a bad dream. And then Chris Matthews, it's a different earth today. A different earth. Donald Trump winning election in the presidency makes it a different earth. Like Earth looked up and went, oh crap, now I got to adjust my jet stream. I got to adjust the tides. What am I going to do? Do I need to slow down the spinning of the core? What? It's a different earth. And then I love this one. This was Martha Raddatz. She says, how does the most qualified, that somebody that Barack Obama calls the most qualified person ever, if she can't break through, who can? I mean, think about this. With all we know about Hillary Clinton, this woman of course, this was early on, but she's like, oh, well, she was qualified. Why didn't we elect her? Because she was a crook. She's a crook. That's why we didn't elect her. And the more you're learning about that crook, the more you understand why Donald Trump was elected. But I'm looking at all these people. It's doomsday. It's going to end. Could it possibly be? And then they go, well, we want to pass this tax bill. We don't want this tax bill to pass when everything's looking good in the economy. We covered that earlier in the broadcast. I'm not going to redo it, but these people are crazy. They're funny. Wow. Before I come back to that, I want to give a tweet. What did this guy say? He said, Democrats screaming about passing a 500-page tax bill at 1 a.m. forgot about the 20,000-page healthcare scam passed in the middle of the night on Christmas Eve, or how they dragged Senator Byrd in on a stretcher through a snowstorm to vote. Do you guys even remember that? That's how they passed Obamacare. They brought a dying man in on a stretcher to vote. I'm just saying. Wow. And they got some nerve. They wrote a 500-page bill at 1 a.m. and they're not even letting anybody see it. That's what Nancy Pelosi said. We can't even see it. Really? So it kind of reminds me of Obamacare, right? And then the next thing they tell you, well, in that plan, it's going to affect some people negatively. There's some negativity going on here. Well, geez. So it has to affect everybody positively, like Obamacare? If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Period. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Period. I said on Fox the other day, I said, if you like your tax plan, you can keep your tax plan. Period. If you like your accountant, you can keep your accountant, period. That one you can. I'm just saying, they don't even think about this stuff. Armageddon. His Armageddon happened. They told us if Donald Trump got elected, our economy was going to go to crap. And our economy is looking pretty doggone good, if you ask me. Pretty good. But what else did they say? Oh, the entire world, America has gone dark. One guy in that clip goes, with the election of Donald Trump, decency is gone. Because, Bill Clinton, he was really decent, wasn't he? And now we've learned that George Bush Sr., H.W., he's a butt grabber. He was decent, wasn't he? George Bush Jr. was an alcoholic and snorted cocaine. Well, he was good. Donald Trump doesn't even drink or snort coke. But the idea that he was a billionaire playboy at one time, and that tests their sensibilities. Van Jones comes on. The election of Donald Trump was a white lash. It was a white lash. White people would whatever. And then somebody else, I think it was Chris Matthews, comes on. He says, people are scared, depressed, the despair. They were clinging to me. Clinging to Chris Matthews. Oh, man. And then Colbert comes in and says, how do we avoid the apocalypse? It's like you're voting on the comet, I think is what he said, right? You're voting on the comet. Hey, I tell you what, Colbert, how's that comet looking for you right now? Oh, man. Who else? Rachel Maddow. Doomsday plan. Hey, David, should we be talking about a doomsday plan? I mean, is this like really a doomsday scenario? Think about how you felt in 2012. It was one thing to get Obama elected in 2008. That was a foregone conclusion. But after 4 years of watching this guy perform, and we can't beat him in 2012, which for the record, I'm glad Comey didn't. Not Comey. What's his name? That Mormon white guy, whatever his name is. I'm glad he didn't win. Mitt Romney. Thank you. I'm glad Romney didn't win. And what about would you want Trump to be your commander-in-chief as opposed to Barack Obama? The guy who went to get Bergdahl but wouldn't go get a Marine out from Mexico? And then, what's his face? Trevor Noah. How can America be this organized, this hateful? Shut up, South Africa. And then, of course, you always got to get that slavery Nazism thing worked in there.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177, or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
He's been clean bill of
Alex,
collusion at this point.
Do you agree with Chris that this is an existential threat, perhaps?
I don't see yet. All we've seen is charges for tax evasion and lying to the FBI. Only in Washington is it an industry that people go to jail for covering up crimes they don't commit. Is a standard procedure. But combine two converging currents, the Mueller investigation, looking for that obstruction of justice charge, and then Alabama. Roy Moore coming to the Senate possibly in a week. And he becomes the face of the Republican Party for the next year when we're already in danger of losing the House. It's likely we'll do that without him. Lose the House. Trump gets impeached. We're closer to impeachment now, I think, than we think.
All right, everybody. That was Alex Castellanos. And he wants to impeach the president, or I shouldn't say that. He believes that the president will be impeached. And by the way, Alex is supposedly a Republican strategist or something along those lines. But he's falling along the lines, the party line of the leftists. He's doing that interview is either on MSNBC or CNN. And it's funny to watch people who are supposed to be on the right when they go over there. They soft shoe stuff. They don't say, you know what, that's nonsense. They don't say things like that. Like when I was on Fox the other day, I made the comment, I was like, I'm done with you. And I said that because you're not even saying anything. This audience is getting nothing from your, talking points. Say something realistic. Say something from the heart, that means something to people. It was a joke. So anyway, this guy, he's talking about impeachment. I would love to see what the left believes about this impeachment nonsense, because that clip is probably, 3 days old or so? I play these because I want you to understand the way people are thinking leading up to something. Like the left with Joy Behar. Woo, we got him. Look at what Flynn said. Woo. And then the next day going, oh, geez, I made a mistake. I didn't know. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Sorry for you. You lose. See, as I said earlier, the left fear the success of Donald Trump. They've got to get rid of this guy before he gets too far in. I mean, he's already far in. Think about this. If Donald Trump stopped right now as president, he'd probably go down as one of the greatest presidents in history. Now, it's kind of like saying if Tiger Woods didn't play another round of golf, he'd go down as one of the best. I think he is the best golfer in history. I've had this argument with him. Jack Nicklaus. Nicklaus didn't have a fraction of the competition of Tiger Woods at any point in his career. I mean, that's just a fact. And they talked about the amount of time Tiger Woods has been number one on the tour is double all the other players combined. The guy wins 24% of his tournaments. Almost every 1 in 4 tournaments this guy plays, he wins. Those are phenomenal numbers. I don't even want to hear about it. So if Trump were to stop as president right now, it's undoubtedly the best first year of any president, I would probably tell you, in history. And I'm not a historian. But what I can tell you is in modern history, it absolutely is. And don't you dare, leftists, because I dare you, don't you dare compare Trump's first year with Obama's first year, because you won't even be able to open your mouth. You'll be like, because you can't speak. It will ruin you. Donald Trump is a stud when it comes to what we're talking about in this economy, the foreign policy, and a host of other things. And let me tell you, as he starts to cherry pick these things that he's going after, it'll get better and better. Dinesh D'Souza tweeted recently, he said, I love that Donald Trump tackles every issue. He leaves nothing off the table. He is in to say that this guy's plugged in is you ever seen one of those hillbilly sockets where they got the 6 plug going in the 2 plug and then they got multiple plugs coming out of the other one that have a bunch of things plugged into them? I guess as long as you don't break the circuit, you're good to go, because Trump is plugged in. I mean, I think of all that Obama tried to do was just juggle scandals. Trump juggles the things that matter to people. So here's what he was saying about federal lands.
Families and communities of Utah know and love this land the best, and you know the best how to take care of your land. You know how to protect it. And you know best how to conserve this land for many, many generations to come. Your timeless bond with the outdoors should not be replaced with the whims of regulators thousands and thousands of miles away. They don't know your land, and truly, they don't care for your land like you do. But from now on, that won't matter. I've come to Utah to take a very historic action to reverse federal overreach and restore the rights of this land to your citizens.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Just what a great thing to do. Give the land back to the people of the state. Barack Obama took massive amounts of land for people, federalized it. The states should be able to do what they want with that land as long as they're good stewards. And, look, I'm not going to get into states' rights versus federal and all that. I understand you got natural resources, we got interstate this and that, we got, probably systems that run from across state lines that we've got to be aware of. I get all that. But national parks and all these different things where the states would do a better job and they could use the revenue, good for them. The federal government needs to get out of the business of dealing with every single little thing, including all this special interest crap that's going on. I want to talk a little bit about the FBI, the old trusty FBI. We'll cover it more again later in the broadcast. I covered it earlier. I talked about the idea that, these FBI people act as if it's such a sanctimonious organization. We have the proud heritage of the FBI. What, when J. Edgar Hoover was extorting people because he had he had files on everybody? Black box. Don't look in here. I got my secrets in here. And they used it against everybody. Misinformation campaigns, you name it. We're supposed to trust the FBI. Yeah, how many things the government did when it was being run by leftists who just think of people as fodder, the people that set up death panels and stuff like that believe in population control. Look, I don't misunderstand. Don't misunderstand me. I don't know what the tolerance of Earth is for the number of human beings. I don't know what it is. I won't pretend. I know this. One of Obama's administrators believed there was 300 million people. And he said we have to really manage to that if it meant death panels. I think his name was Cass Susterin or something. But he said that's what we have to manage to. There have been many people with different numbers on it. Oh, if we get more than 6 billion, now we're at 7.5 billion. You know what? There's plenty of space on Earth. There's lots of natural resources. But what Earth will do is it will kill us off. So you could say, well, we can't be, having a bunch of babies or whatever. Yeah, we can. We can have as many as we want. And then a bubonic plague-like thing will come along and it'll kill 1 billion of us or 2 billion. And we'll remember it and go, ooh, that was close. But I don't know what the number is. I don't even really care. I just know that the left believe they know it, and the intellectuals will kill you in an instant for no reason. And so for them to pretend that government's good, government is a conniving beast, man. It's looking for any way to get your money. It wants you as productive as you can be for as long as you can be. But the minute you start losing productivity, it's downhill. It has a threshold. Then it says you're off. Don't try to fool me. The old trusty FBI under Comey and Barack Obama, the most crooked administration in the history of the Republic. I don't even have to go back. Don't talk to me about Watergate. Don't talk to me about whatever else may have happened in the past. Yeah, you guys you may not remember this. 48 years ago, yesterday, FBI and the Chicago Police Department conspired to murder a guy by the name of Fred Hampton in his apartment. Did you know this? They were afraid that he was going to create a multiracial political coalition that would challenge the Democrats who were in power. Fred Hampton was 21 years old at the time. They were afraid of unity. They were afraid of what the left themselves claim they fight for today, unity. Ask yourself this, do they really want unity to occur? Because that would be successful. I want you to think about a world where leftists no longer cry about their special interests and we're all unified.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Success. That's what we have. That's what you are. That's what the conservative movement represents. That's what happened in 2016 on the night of November the 8th, going into the morning of the 9th. Success. It had been brewing. It looked like failure. You know the old saying, you fail a lot before you succeed? Because you got to get practice. You got to hone your skills. I don't know how many kicks I've thrown in my life before finally I can squeeze that thing in, and then suddenly it's just easy. It's just pop, 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 pop. How many punches? I'll go to the like the sporting goods store, and I'll hit the speed bag. Kids will go up and hit it, and I'll hit the speed bag for 2 minutes. just dinking around because, things are going, other people are shopping. I'm having a good time. And I'll just go hit it because it's set up. It's got the, air in it. And it is amazing. And in 2 minutes, I might hit that thing, 150, 200 times or something like that. Maybe more because I'm hitting it, 3-4 times a second. So let's say I get 500 hits in, 250 per side. Yeah, I can do the math in my head. Look at that. Good education. So here's my point. That's 2 minutes dinking around. I used to hit the speed bag 10 minutes at a time. I mean, just going from side to side, like as if you were, going back and forth like through a fight. Left to your right, left to your right. Just and it has a little different sound when you move from one side to the other, one side to the other, and trying to keep that rhythm. I can't even keep it with my mouth. But anyway, here's my point. Many times when I got started hitting that thing, it was right. Couldn't hit it. Couldn't keep that thing going. Couldn't keep the rhythm. And then after, 5,000 hits, more than that, many more than that, probably 100,000, 150,000. Suddenly I got a rhythm. Same thing with jumping rope. My son has a jump rope. He's got a little buddy outside and they're jumping rope. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. And I go outside and they go, we can't get beyond 10. And I said, let me see it. I took the rope. I'm switching it up, putting it, one side of my body and the other, going back, pop, doubling up, soup. Then I stopped it, went backwards, started doing exactly the opposite. And I finished, handed it back to him after about 2 minutes. And the little boy goes, you can really jump rope. Yeah. You want to know how many hours I spent jumping rope? How many hours doing exactly what they did? Couldn't get beyond 10? What I'm telling you people is this. You think you were losers all that time back in the day. We weren't paying attention. We may not have been training as hard as we thought we were, but there came a point where we started to train. And let me give you a little hint, folks. This is what I tell people that I train. I tell them, trust your training. Not trust your instincts. Trust your training. You know what your training is. Your training is the education you actually got. Your training is hanging around the people that mean something to you and not becoming a superficial maggot like those leftists in Hollywood. Your training was staying true to who you are, your core, because you believed in something. You believed in God. You believe in family. You believe in country. That was your training. It was tested all along the way. And finally, you had to put your training into action. And when you first started, 2010, you trusted your training and you flipped Congress or flipped one of those houses. I believe it was Congress. You trusted your training again in 2014. And it won. And you know what? You trusted your training in 2012 when you didn't elect Romney. In 2008 when you didn't elect John McCain. But in 2010 you flipped Congress. In 2014 you doubled down. And then you know what you did? You really trusted your training because at this point you knew what success looked like. You were like, whoa, it ain't McCain. Whoa, it ain't Romney. It's not George Bush. And you trusted your training. Many of you trusted it earlier than some of the rest of us. I'm not giving myself an excuse, but I was a pundit. I knew I had to go on TV, and I was not going to declare. But admittedly, I wasn't a Trump guy during the primaries. But I said, whoever wins, I'll support 100%. And when Trump won, I jumped on the bandwagon. At that point, it wasn't that I was saying he was infallible. Was he boorish? Sure he is. He reminds me of that. It's like I tell y'all guys all the time. He's a billionaire that doesn't act like a billionaire. Good for him. I don't like those pretentious, I'll just leave it at that. But I don't like them. I like guys that are down to earth. That, Donald Trump's the kind of guy you say, yeah, man, my car broke down. You say, man, you got to have a car, Kev. What's it going to cost you to fix it? I don't know, about $1,200. Here, call the office. We'll get you $1,200. He's not going to give you $12,000. He's not going to give you $100,000, but he'll give you $1,200. Because this thing is, that's enough for you to get it fixed, right? Yeah. Then you're back on your feet, aren't you? Yeah. Then get to going. All right. I got a friend like that, except he's a lot more generous. A lot more generous. But if you need something, you call him. He's there. But here's my point. You were building to success. And all those so-called losses that the left are laughing about. Joy, what's her face? Joy Behar. She's laughing. Donald Trump's going down because of Michael Flynn. And then what happens? Next day, poof, she gets knocked out. Because see, Joy's not training. She doesn't want to know anything. She doesn't want to hone her skills and understand what the fight is really about. That doesn't matter to her. She just wants to win. She thinks she can go from no training to winning. Why? Because I'm brash and I'm brutish and I'm funny. You're none of it except brash. And I could go with a few other adjectives. But you trained. You started listening to shows like mine. You started paying attention to people like me. I'm not taking all the credit for you, even though I did put a couple of muscles on you. Let's just face it. Okay. But the point is, you are now ready for battle. You know how to win. You know what success looks like. And now I will take nothing less than that from you. You're looking back at Romney. Many of you said, I can't stand, I hate myself for wanting to vote for Romney. But you know what? You're not going to be fooled again. You're not fooled by the media industrial complex. You're not fooled by the lies of the left. You know what to look for. You know what a good sparring partner is too. You're ready for the fight. Bring it, lefty. Come on, baby. Bring it, rhino. Bring it, anti-Trumper. Because you're training, and you're training every day.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177, or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful four-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville. Can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to play a clip. This guy's a friend of mine. His name is Ed Martin. That's from St. Louis. He's run for quite a few offices. He now works at Eagle Forum, and he's a, they call it a contributor at CNN. And Ed's on a lot, and he's a nice guy. He's an affable guy. He's an attorney, and has a practice there in St. Louis. I don't know what type, corporate, I think, and a sharp guy. But when I listen to guys like Ed do interviews, it drives me crazy. I want to play this interview, not to embarrass Ed, but to say that how you could handle this situation. And I want you to see how it spirals, how the person takes what Ed says, spins it, and he doesn't come back hard enough. Now, what you won't see is he's in a panel discussion, and it's a 4-panel. The host and 3 other people, and they've got it cut into 4, squares. And Ed is shaking his head when she's talking, but he doesn't interrupt. He doesn't say that's absolute nonsense. He just tries to fight with the high road. And I'm going to show you. You tell me how effective you think this is. But here he is.
Well, as I've said before, first of all, there's 2 things that are in conflict. One, I've said from the beginning, I don't know the women to say that they're not telling the truth. So I don't know how I could know that, and I don't think most people do. The second thing is you and every other major news outlet have said that Al Franken is okay to go to the ethics committee to get an investigation. Why is that? I haven't said it. Don't do that, Ed. Well, CNN has. Everyone has. They've said that's a proper venue for something to happen. I agree with you. It won't be much in Al Franken's case, but why should the people of Alabama have to listen to people tell them what the facts are when they can't judge? They know Roy Moore. They know the people. I mean, they're going to make a vote on that, right?
Go ahead, Hillary. Well, this is the problem of this kind of false equivalency, and I think, honestly, the Democrats screwed this up with Al Franken. But the fact that you justify saying that Roy Moore, who these women were credible, they were public, they have nothing to gain. And by the way, they were Republicans, still are Republicans. The fact that you say, well, it's okay for Roy Moore to be in the Senate because Al Franken is still there is just appalling. And
I didn't say that.
That's literally what the Republicans have done. Mitch McConnell and Cory Gardner, the chair of the Republican campaign committee, said just 2.5 weeks ago that he should not be in the Senate. And what happens yesterday? We need a vote for tax reform. We need votes. That's disgusting. The idea that Mitch McConnell walked back his claim that Roy Moore should not be in the Senate and then gave the president permission somehow to do the same thing. You guys should be ashamed of yourself to suggest that because Al Franken put his hand on a woman's ass that Roy Moore should also be in the Senate. Sorry.
I never said that.
You should be ashamed of that.
I never said that. So
it's table. Don't act like that actually hurts your feelings. Go on.
Look, I think that I'm ashamed that on national TV you'd use that kind of language. All I've said was that from the very beginning I've used
Let me just be clear. Let me just be clear. You can actually say that. By the way, it's not okay to do. It's okay to say.
That's not what Al Franken did. The pictures show something different.
I am not defending Al Franken, but you sure shouldn't defend Roy Moore.
Well, listen, I'm saying that in the people of Alabama, 5 weeks before an election, are treated to a litany of people who one thing. And by the way, you're not telling the truth, Hillary, when you say that all of the people who accused him have been credible. There have been people who have been shown to not be credible. And all I've said from the beginning is we can't tell who's telling the truth, but we can let the people vote. And then, as you and others have said about Al Franken, let the thing go forward after that. We'll see.
Okay, I got to stop it there. I mean, it pretty much ended. But there's so many things I want to talk to you about with respect to how you debate on the left. I can't debate over there because I'm, with Fox. But I will just tell you, all Ed Martin said was, you don't know the facts. And he didn't have to say another word. You don't know the facts. I would say to that lady, what do you know? What do you know about these women? You explain to me. Were you there? Do you know somebody that was there? Explain to me how you are so sure that this happened. Because let me tell you something. I saw Al Franken. I saw what he did on a graphic. Now, personally, is it worth him losing his seat over? I'm not going to be the judge of that. Other women have come forward. He's now admitted to it. So that's the evidence there. But you tell me what you know definitively, and I want to know right now. But no, they go down this path. False equivalency. She says the Democrats screwed up with Franken. But she says, but to justify and that Moore should be in the Senate based on Franken is appalling. And that's not what he did. I would have interrupted her immediately and said, I'm going to stop you right there. You're lying on national TV. That's not what I said. What I said is, you explain to me how you know what these women, whether they're guilty or innocent. You explain it. You explain to me how you know whether Roy Moore is guilty or innocent. So I'm just, as appalled as you are and wanting to believe these women, I could be just as appalled on the Roy Moore side saying, how can you accuse somebody of something which you have absolutely no evidence? So you defend that. Now, I've already talked about this earlier in the broadcast. We are on a slippery slope. I already talked about this, but it's worthy of hearing again. The Muslim community says it takes two women to negate what one man say. So in other words, if a man rapes a woman and that's all she's got is her evidence, so what? Now, if women want to live in a world like that, where men can go around doing whatever they want, and they say, do you have a second witness? No, I don't. Well, then it didn't happen. Shame on them. Because I'll be doggone if I'm a man and I'm going to live in a world where a woman says, Kevin did this to her. And I go, I did no such thing. And I have no way to defend myself except my word. Because let me tell you something. My word should be good enough. You want to give me video, you want to have some audio, you want to send them some faxes or emails or whatever, maybe so. But if you just want to say, well, you said this or that, and then when Ed Martin says, well, look at the evidence. Well, what evidence? Some of these women are not credible. That's not true. Gloria Allred still hasn't produced that photo album or whatever, the yearbook that Roy Moore supposedly signed. And you want to know why? Because it's fake. And Ed didn't come back and explain that. See, this is why I don't like when people, quote, debate on our behalf as conservatives. Did he lose the argument? Not necessarily, but he doggone sure didn't win it. And then he goes into, oh, well, you just said that language. Look, I can say the word on the radio. I won't do it. I'll say but. But the fact of the matter is that was the least of the concerns. I'd say the only person making a butt out of herself is you right now, because you have no evidence. What you're trying to say to America and the world is a woman must be believed over a man. Why? You explain to me why. When is somebody going to start standing up for the rights of everybody? If you're going to accuse somebody of something, you should be held to the standard of proving it. Isn't that what our jurisprudence system is built on? Innocent until proven guilty? Oh, well, it's the sheer number. Oh, wow. So what have we learned in Democrat politics? You know what they do? They go out and they pay people to say things. That's what they do. And I would have confronted her. I'd say, you know what your party does? You go out and you, by the way, your gender, you go out and you pay people to say things. You act as if you're all sanctimonious, but you're the ones out there strutting your stuff for people. And then you want to proclaim that there's a women's movement. Well, you can't have it both ways, sister. And that's what I would have said.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Disturbing and troubling, because you're right. He was at the heart of the investigation into Hillary Clinton. We know that she lied numerous times. We know that she bleached, bitted, and deleted 33,000 emails. We know that a majority of Americans in all polling said that she was neither honest or trustworthy. It's part of why she lost. And yet you do hear people constantly asking, when will she be held to account? I know she's got a pretty bad fate of not working and living behind me here. But this is what frustrates people. And now this revelation that a decidedly, definitively anti-Trump FBI investigator was involved in the Hillary Clinton interviews, as the president says, is now starting to make a lot of sense. And of course, this is in the context of never-ending investigations here of the Trump transition, of the Trump campaign, of possible collusion, which, of course, the president said as recently as Saturday simply does not exist. So it's very frustrating to many law-abiding Americans who look up and always see a double standard, always see special exceptions for Hillary Clinton. Look, the Clinton Foundation doesn't even exist anymore, which also means they're not taking gazillions of dollars from countries that don't respect women and girls. Wink, wink. But it's very disturbing to folks. And who knows if there's more. I'm glad they took action and got rid of this guy. But a lot of damage had already been done because Hillary was under investigation by the FBI. We're also seeing now more information being released about that famous tarmac meeting that wasn't just about golf and grandchildren, we would imagine, between then Attorney General Lynch and President Bill Clinton, the only President Clinton we'll ever have. Right. People want to know. See, you talk about golf and grandkids for maybe the first 3 minutes, what was the rest of the conversation that lasted nearly an hour? So there are many questions, and anybody who's watching right now, those people who watch TV for a living, which is curious, and type about what we're talking about and say they just can't get rid of Hillary Clinton. They can't stop talking about Hillary Clinton. No, we can't stop talking about Hillary Clinton because she just never goes away.
Kellyanne.
She's legitimized by the mainstream media. Now we find out the FBI had pro-Hillary, anti-Trump people at the heart of the Hillary investigation. Very troubling.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Race Pimping is my book, racepimping.com. Talking about, I forget this guy's, what's his name? Peter Strzok or something like that. Stroke. And he is the guy that special counsel Robert Mueller fired after the New York Times praised his work. He's been at every phase of this investigation that allowed for the cover-up of Hillary Clinton, and James Comey knew it. Look, here's the thing. Is there any accountability here? Who was over it? Comey. We know this happened. Why is he not in jail? Why has something not been done? How does he get to write a $2 million or whatever $1 million book deal, get a book deal, while his Justice Department is in effect creating injustice, not telling the American people the truth? I'm just curious. And Robert Mueller, Mr. Stand-Up Guy, all these guys patting each other on the back. It's like Holly weirdos giving each other awards so they can get more and more money, more and more prestige. So we dote on everything that they say. What did Matt Damon say? You know, what did Clooney say? He's so amazing. He can pretend to be other people. Why shouldn't we listen to him? He's so amazing. Oh, George Clooney was in my town the other day, and I bumped into him at the grocery store. I mean, you know, I don't really know him, and he didn't really say anything to me, but he was there. Why do we give them so much credit? They're nobodies. They're people who can play other people. And just for the record, real life is much better. I've argued this. You want to show me somebody who can cry when there's somebody died on the screen or whatever, and show me a mother who gets told by the police that her son just got shot in a drive-by shooting as he was coming home from the grocery store. I'll show you who can really act. Because real life more than makes up for it. We get people so much credit because they can mimic real life. You know, or make you have an emotional feeling about going through a tunnel, or, you know, being on a crazy island somewhere where monsters appear. Whoa, God, they just make me go from reality. Let me tell you who suspends your reality every single day. These stupid leftists. They suspend your reality. Or, better yet, somebody can make a melodious sound out of their voice and sell millions of CDs or DVDs or downloads or whatever it is. And Ariana Grande, she's a little songbird. She's as messed up in the head as you can get, nut-eared and squirrel turds. But you know what? Let's listen to her. Let's listen to Streisand. Why not? She's certainly not detached from reality. This is crazy. You know, I got to tell you, a proud moment. My youngest son, he was asked at school who are his idols. And he said his parents. And it wasn't like a contrived thing. He was, you know, who'd you say? My parents, of course. It's what he said. Little booger made me cry. No, I wasn't really crying. I was just acting. But he did make me proud. You guys are looking at me going, yeah, Kevin, we know you were acting. I can cry. I can cry on cue. You want to know how I can cry on cue? No lie. You know what makes me cry on cue? When I think about my grandmother on the day that we were burying my great-grandfather. If I want to have tears well up in my eyes instantaneously, I think of that moment. My tears are welling up right now. That was one of the saddest moments in my life. Watching my grandmother, who had watched her daughter die, I'd seen that same look in her eye when my mother died and my great-grandfather died. The patriarch, the man that she admired the most in the world. It was so, I mean, my great-grandfather, he's the man I admire the most in the world. Proud to say that. I mean, a man. And, you know, he was respectful of women, but he was all man. And when he was buried in that church, here's this old sharecropper lived in the good house. My brother used to say had all the holes in the floor. The bad house, they had a dirt floor. Had a dirt floor. And my great grandfather, they said, was strong as an ox. You'll think I'm lying, and this isn't a great story, but there's probably got to be at least 5 people in the family that said a mule would not follow my great grandfather, and he knocked the mule out. I'm not lying. And that's not one of those, the story gets bigger with age. 4 of my uncles told me my great grandfather was tired of dealing with the mule. He wouldn't plow or whatever. He needed to get going. He knocked the mule out. Nobody messed with my great grandfather. I saw him later on in life, and he was, he wasn't able to move as much. And when he died in his 90s, and we took him to a picnic once, and he says to me, I won't say my nickname, but he says to me, "Hey, can you take me around by this tree?" And I said, "Sure," because he was blind. I said, "Sure, Papa." So I walk him around the tree. He says, "Now point me in the right direction. I don't want the women looking at my stuff." But yeah, I can cry on command with that man, because you know what? I loved him so deeply. He formed things inside of my life that I can never get. Nobody else can put inside of me the knowledge that he put, because I was willing to listen. Level of respect. Anyway, Kellyanne is saying, when is Clinton going to be held accountable? We got a guy who, has worked on all aspects of this campaign with Hillary Clinton. And the more things that come out about him, the worse it gets. Here's some latest information about this guy. Judicial Watch obtained this. He praised the acting Attorney General, Sally Yates, after she was fired in January by President Trump for refusing to defend his travel ban that was identical to Barack Obama's. And he sent her a note praising her. Here's what he said. "I am so proud and in awe. Thank you so much. All my deepest respects." This is a guy working on an investigation against Trump, lining up witnesses as he's supposed to be looking into the Hillary Clinton thing, who exonerated Clinton's attorney and Uma Thurman, as well as rewrote the terminology that we were later gifted with by Comey. And yeah, we're supposed to all be feeling good about this guy, good about the investigation. Let me tell you what this would be if it were a court of law. They would throw this case out. That's what they do. And then there'd be hell to pay, because all along the food chain, they have mishandled this. When Comey came back, you guys remember, I think it was a House questioning. They said, well, "Did you take notes when Clinton was testifying?" "No." "Did you record it?" "No." Who does that? This is the Department of Justice. Can you imagine being called into the FBI and they record none of what you say and take no notes? I would love to see in the history of the Bureau where that's occurred. Nowhere. They take us for fools. And as Kellyanne Conway said, never-ending investigations into Trump while this guy's doing all his dirty work, and guess what? The damage is done. It's done. How are you going to undo it? How do you know what chain of evidence is real, what's fake, what's whatever? What's been fabricated? We got nothing. We got a guy who's tainted all this information. If we don't even have video where we can see him going wink, wink, nod, nod, right? They're crooks, all of them, to their core.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Hey everybody, Kevin Jackson here. It is the Kevin Jackson Show. Glad you're with me. So we knew there had to be some sacrificial lambs. And let me tell you, the shoe is falling all over the place. And you should congratulate yourselves because you have been successful in toppling the most crooked political system on the planet. I know people are, come on, Kevin, there's all kinds of countries that are crooked. No, there are countries that you know they're crooked. What we've been told is that everything's on the up and up. It's all good in America. We have, fair elections and we play by the rules and yada, yada, yada. It's a one justice system for all. It's not, special justice or special treatment for certain people like the elitist and then the treatment for you, etc. And you know what? It's none of that. We have the most corrupt system in the world. And the only thing the left doesn't want to do is they don't want to admit to it. You know it. Black folks are, what's the miscarriage of justice? So black people say that cops are unfairly targeting black folks. No, they're not. They're fairly targeting black folks. And you know what? Black folks are getting away with more than any other culture. True. It's a fact. You could talk to, there's not a police chief on the planet that will call me a liar on that. He may deny it publicly, but privately he'll tell you the truth and say, Kevin's exactly right. Corporations are held gangster by women, Lily Ledbetter nonsense, by minorities. Oh, we can't have a group of La Raza at your company. Well, we don't make tortillas, dude. We make lawn chairs, Well, we still want to be represented, the Mexicans. It's always somebody complaining. And then we look at what does happen. What's funny is all the people complaining about, we don't get our justice, we don't get this, we don't get that. Then they look at what's happening with Hillary Clinton. They see what's going on. And they say nothing. They're quiet. You want to know why? They're sellouts. I was having a discussion with some black dude. I got called the donkey of the day by the Griot, which is some black publication, online publication. I was the donkey of the day. I was getting all this mail from black folks. And I responded to every one of them. And they came at me, you dumb butt, except they would use other words, and calling me all kinds of stuff. And let me tell you, luckily it's on DM, where everybody doesn't get to see those tweets. But I fired back at these clowns like you wouldn't believe. I fired back at them. Who are you to write to me telling me I'm wrong about something? You just got out of the pen. Trying to tell me, Kevin, you're bad for black people. Well, what's your story? Well, I just got out 2 months ago. I caught a case for 5 years because I was selling some heroin or whatever. Oh, really? So you, my friend, are a great representative of black people. Let me tell you something. I've been into hundreds of companies. Hundreds. I've met with board of directors in more companies in a month than the average person would meet with board of directors in 5 lifetimes. And I will tell you, every time, pretty much without exception, I may not have won every deal, but I left that boardroom, and I know for a fact, the people in that room said, that's one sharp guy. And I don't care what else they said after that. They looked at me, I walked in, and I could tell in some cases, they, especially when I was younger, they didn't really respect, they were like, oh, he's a youngster. But when I was finished with that board, at whatever age I was, they said, wow. I'll give you a perfect example. I went to a board and we had lost the deal. And the owner of the company said, man, will you go to the board and talk to the company? So I said, yeah, because it was a school board. So I went and talked to him. This is, I've talked to other ones. I'm just giving you kind of an early example. But I was VP of a company, and I went to talk to the people that made the decision for the technology of this particular school, big school. And we had lost this major contract to Dell. And so the school was in my hometown. So I go to the school board, and we're having a discussion. And I said, I just want to find out why the board made a decision that's, because we had lost like low bid or whatever, and they were 2% or, it was pennies. And I said, I don't understand this. I said, we are a local corporation. We've been supporting, we supported another big school right next door to the other one. And I was like, we've been supporting this school district for the better part of 8 years. But not only that, we're in the community. We're helping people do this, that, and the other. And I said, now, when you put all that on balance, we are giving back into this community much, much more than Michael Dell is going to give this community. For him, you're a notch in his cap. He's happy that you gave him the business, but he's not going to come here and run his business from here and hire people and blah, blah, blah. I said, now, with all due respect, I am not disrespecting your decision. I understand you weren't aware of all of the things, the intricacies of this particular piece of business. But I don't look at this as business. I look at this as community. And what we're doing here is bigger than that. We are Johnny on the spot, no matter what happens at our, and I said, and by the way, you can contact our client. And I said, I think you probably did. We are Johnny on the spot. Michael Dell can talk about next day shipping and all that. How about next hour me bring it over? And I said, so again, I do not want to, make anybody upset about your decision, because I get it's a paper decision. But that's why I wanted to come here personally. I didn't bit more finish when a guy stood up and said, how in the hell did we not give the business to these guys? And then he goes, you know what? I say we put a hold on this business until we can relook at this. And everybody's like, mumbling. Now, I'll tell you, we didn't get the business. It was a bid. We lost. We didn't get it that year. We got it the next year. But my point is, when I left, they were going, who is this dude? And that was nothing. By the time, that was probably 10 years before I got into management consulting and started actually dealing with huge companies. But these clowns that come to me and talk about, what are you doing for blacks? Every time I went into a corporation, I represented blacks. I didn't go in there going, yeah, y'all, listen, I didn't sag. I didn't have braids in my hair. I wasn't wearing my bling. I went in there as a young man trying to get that business, and I spoke professionally. They knew my family life. They do a lot of research on you. So how dare you write to me telling me I'm some Stetson fetchy coon bud Negro, which they use different language. How dare you? Talking to grown people that way. And the other thing is this. If you've got a disagreement with somebody, how about you just say, you know what, Kevin, I completely disagree with what you said on Fox. This point that you made about blankety blank, I just find, whatever. I'm happy to discuss that. But they always come in with this, you're crazy, you piece of this, you idiot. And then I come back, well, you're the idiot. And you know why they're idiots? Because they're the people that elect the John Conyers of the world, who, by the way, has been officially thrown to the wolves now. See, in Indian culture, when people get old, they walk away and they give themselves to the elements. But Democrats don't go away. You're watching Hillary Clinton right now. So they got to throw them to the wolves. Hillary Clinton is eventually going to be thrown to the wolves. So we got Conyers stepping down because now he wants his son to molest women. But the Democrats, folks, when Conyers says, I'm going to step down, they felt complete. They washed their sins away when he stepped down. He was an easy target, though, and I talked about this the other day, because any member of the Congressional Black Caucus is guaranteed a seat as long as they step and fetch it for the powers that be. So losing Conyers was no big deal to them. Days into his sexual misconduct, Pelosi called Conyers an icon. But as they say in the mafia, it's going to be your friend who puts that bullet in your brain. And Pelosi obliged. She then sent something, made a comment publicly, Conyers needs to step down. And let me tell you something, folks. That was no request. Conyers had to go. Not even a congressional black circus clown, Sheila Jackson Lee, could save him, and she called him a patriot. And let me tell you a little bit about Democrat politics. When a big-mouthed black woman from Houston, Texas can't save you, you know that the order for your hit came from the head of the family. So Conyers resigned and ironically asked Sheila Jackson Lee to read his document because he didn't want to appear. He says, my legacy can't be compromised or diminished in any way by what we're going through now. This too shall pass. I want you to know that my legacy will continue through my children. I have a great family here, and especially in my oldest boy, John Conyers III, who incidentally I endorsed to replace me in my seat in Congress. So yet again, we got DNA we got to deal with. In the Lacey Clay, he replaced his father. Kwame Kilpatrick, you remember that guy? He got handed his seat. A lot of taxpayer money it cost Detroit to finally get rid of that guy. Convicted, high-ranking Democrat political leader in Detroit. 14 days to deliberate on his trial, but the scoundrel and his father went to prison over it. So the Democrats, they want to look at people like me and talk about, I'm not a good role model. Look, all you got to do is look at any member of the Congressional Black Circus, and you'll see what's going on. All you got to do is look at the people who call the shots. Pelosi, forget Steny Hoyer, and others. They're the shot callers up there.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.